All right, here's our last topic. We're going to talk about the stress cycle and overstimulation, kind of in one cup. We're not going to dive too deep. But we have stressors and we have stress. Okay, the stressors are the environment, right? Tension in the marriage, the workload, the finances, doing all the things with the kids, cleaning, okay? A lot of our stressors are psychological. All of that I just mentioned will affect us mentally, okay? If it was physical stressors, you would be in an abusive relationship. You wouldn't have access to food, shelter, all those things. So our stressors have changed, but they feel real, okay? And that's where what overstimulation is. It's stressors in the environment causing the stress, okay? A lot of times we can't control the stressors, all right? But what's powerful is we can control the stress and what it does to us, okay? We can control how we think, we can control how we feel, and therefore we control our behaviors. So anytime you get stuck in a victim mentality, which I lived in, and I still get stuck, I remind myself I am in control. I am not these stressors. I am not my thoughts and emotions. I can control the way I think and feel. It's a hard shift to make, okay? It takes a lot of deep work, subconscious reprogramming, which is fun stuff, right? Stressors, stress. The stress, the body holds the stress, okay? The stress is what's happening to you. The stress in your brain, the overthinking, the anxiety, the mental load. There's too much in the freaking head, guys. That's why journaling is so powerful. Intentional, consistent journaling is just as effective as therapy. Okay, and it's free. That's why that's the first thing I asked you guys to do. A good brain dump. If you're mentally stressed and you're just like, oh my God, I'm a freaking chicken with my head cut off, write it all down. Just like, just get it out. Okay. You're going to feel so much better. Okay. Stress affects us mentally, it affects us emotionally, right? We just talked about that. We might attach to emotions. That means you're super stressed. Okay. That means you're dysregulated. All right. So the stimulation too, right? If you consider yourself to have a sensitive nervous system and you have young kids, okay, this is crazy. And I struggled to believe this, but now after having three young children, I understand. I understand this now. So combat veterans, PTSD. They they say being home with young children 24/7, and like, yeah, working moms have that stress too, but the hypervigilance of being around young kids, if you're a teacher, daycare teachers, oh my gosh, I was just in a 1-year-old classroom. There were 6 1-year-olds. One was like attached to her leg, one was climbing, one was like eating paint. It's like I used to work at a daycare. I'm like, thank God I don't do that anymore. I could not work with 6 1-year-olds. But they say, because the nervous system's so hypervigilant, they can compare that to the the stressors on the nervous system to being a combat soldier, which is insane. But it makes sense because the stimulation in the environment is causing so much stress on the nervous system. Okay. So give yourself freaking grace, guys. All right. And sometimes there are stressors we can't control. Like, I'm so freaking overstimulated by visual clutter. Like, it just makes me feel nuts. And sometimes I just got to let it go because the cleaning all the time is just like, that gets me dysregulated. Once in a while, I just F it. We call it F it Fridays, where it's movie night, pizza night, and they can just make the freaking biggest mess. And I don't clean anything Friday nights. All right. And I'm just like, sometimes just letting the visual clutter loose like feels good. And then I clean it. But there are certain things we can control when it comes to stimulation. And it's not necessarily control, it's adapting the environment. Okay. Stressors, stress. Okay. The mental stress, the emotional stress, the physical stress that's happening to your body. Do you know that 80% of hospitalizations are because of stress? I was hospitalized because I thought I was having freaking appendicitis or gallbladder, whatever. I was like, I'm dying. Please find out what's wrong with me. Actually, I've been in the hospital twice because of stress. They're like, there's nothing. There's nothing there. And it was stress. I was literally giving myself an ulcer because that anxiety and the stress for me gets my gut. If I start having really bad acid reflux and my belly is just messed up in knots, that's control. that's anxiety, right? There are certain points in your body that you should learn about. Actually, I'll probably add the visual in it, um, or a link. Like shoulder stress, certain parts of the body has a meaning to it. Okay. Um, but yeah, that's just an example of how horrible stress can be. It can freaking kill you. It can lead to cancer. It can lead to immunological, diagnoses. I know women who like, oh, the left side of my face goes numb, like crazy stuff, and they've been tested and there's nothing there. Some women, they might get a rash on their body. They might like their body just like will shut down. That usually happens to me. That's how stress just manifests, where my body just like it just like that happened to me a few weeks ago. And it's because I wasn't addressing the stress, Even me, the regulated mama, yeah, I get caught up. I get caught up in stress. My smart brain shuts off and I forget to do the things. It's gonna freaking happen. That's real life. I was on the couch and I'm like, yeah, there I go again. I was doing a lot. Okay? Grace. Grace. Because if you were dysregulated for years or decades, it's gonna take a while. Okay? It's gonna take time. All right? We have to address the stress. Okay? It's a cup. The stimulation, the stress is a cup. And if you don't complete the stress cycle, right? Chronic stressors in the environment, we never complete the stress cycle, guys. We're stuck in stress. Okay? Acute stressors like a deadline being made or cleaning the house before people come, saving your kid from getting stung by a bee. Acute stressors, they have a beginning and an end. But we have chronic stressors in our environment. It's our job to complete the stress cycle and to shift into regulation, okay? That's where we take control, okay? And that's empowering, that I have a say. I don't have to live like this, okay? The stress cup, the sensory cup fills, all right? And if you are not meeting your basic needs, if you're neglecting yourself, if you're not checking in, the fluid is building up, the stress, the stimulation, because nothing you're doing is taking fluid out of your cup. Meeting your basic needs, addressing the stress, checking in, it's like poking holes in the cup, okay? One example I use is sleep is my number one, and it should be everyone's number one. I meet women who are like, I don't need to sleep. I'm like, I beg to differ. Women actually need a lot more sleep than men. But if I wake up and I haven't slept, and I'm like only like a yearish postpartum, so I've gotten used to the lack of sleep. But if I really go like 2 nights without sleep, I wake up and I'm a freaking psycho. Like the thoughts are so loud. It's bad. It's bad. I wake up in the middle of the freaking stress cycle and my cup is already overflowing and it's 7 a.m. Okay? That's why meeting your basic needs in the moment addresses the stress. In the moment, like I'm going to go rest, I'm going to go move, I'm going to connect with myself, I'm going to do my devotional practice. That's one of the types of rest, okay? That takes fluid out of the cup and regulates us in the moment. But consistently meeting our basic needs is a preventative. That's what builds our capacity to handle more. When I sleep, great, and I move consistently, and I'm resting, and I'm connecting to myself, I'm freaking unstoppable. Okay? Yeah, it's still going to be hard sometimes because life happens, but I feel great. I have more, it's like my cup is bigger and can handle more. And I'm consistently taking fluid out of that cup, okay? So the stress, the overstimulation, it fills, and it's our job to take fluid out of that cup, okay? Now, when it comes to overstimulation, everyone's sensory system is so different. And I do offer, you guys can look at my link, an affordable like 1 hour. I give you a sensory questionnaire I created just for parents. And we go through your sensory system and the results. And it's really amazing because your sensitivities are also your superpowers. So if touch, noise, visual clutter can dysregulate you like this, the right input can regulate you just as quickly. So yeah, you're overstimulating a lot of senses, but you may be understimulated, okay? Sensory system's really cool, guys. And if you're interested in that, just reach out to me. But yeah, sensory system is, it just goes right there with the nervous system, right? That it's The ongoing stimulation is a threat in the environment. They're stressors, okay? We have chronic stressors when we're moms. So I want you to go through the worksheets, make them your own. Just you don't have to like what I do or but just make it your own. This is about you and your journey, okay? I like to like score myself um or check it off, and it doesn't have to look a certain way. It's like if you have a goal to walk for 20 minutes a day, but you intentionally said I'm going to like park farther away in the Walmart parking lot just so I can move my body a little more. Okay? Movement is so important, guys. It's the most regulating thing we can do. You got to move the stress. Okay? I could talk about just movement. Okay? Adding a little bit resistance to the body, proprioceptive input is the most regulating thing you can do. So move. Don't think your way through something if you're going through a hard time. Move your way through something. Walking is so underrated. Okay? So just being intentional, like maybe your goal is 20 minutes to walk, but make it even smaller and check it off. Like I was intentional. I like ran around on the playground with my kids. I walked farther in the parking lot. I went up the stairs purposely a few extra times just so I could move a little bit. So be intentional, okay? It's a 1 minute of extra movement, okay? 1 minute before I reached for the phone or before I started the evening hustle, I just sat there and breathed. I just rested. I didn't do anything. I like took a dump without doing anything. Or I like ate with and I was just eating my food, you know? We tend to like want to do several things at the same time. That's usually dysregulation speaking. Okay? Celebrate the smallest of the wins. You know why? Because those are the ones breaking the patterns. This is about intentional pattern interruption. That is how you change your nervous system. Okay, ladies?